And is the recording started? Yes, it has. Okay. All right, Annalene, thanks for your question. You're saying, I want to know a few about an argumentative essay. Still writing a few drafts and working through it. The reason is I didn't write the argumentative essay. Okay. So, Annalene, just so that I can, saying you want to know a few things about an argumentative essay, can you maybe be a bit more specific? What exactly about the argumentative essay are you feeling unsure of? Okay, you're saying they give details in one of the, I think it's tutorial letter 301. Okay, let's pull up that. I've got that tutorial letter. Okay, so just to maybe, okay. I am sharing the PDF screen, eh? Is everybody seeing the PDF screen? Yeah, okay, okay, yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, I just forgot, I just unshared it now, so, okay, great. All right, so let's just go there, argumentative essays, page 12. Okay. So, Annalene, can you tell me maybe perhaps what it is you're wanting to know? What was it on this page that you're needing? Okay, all right, Nurjan. Sorry, I didn't see that it was Nurjan who posted that. Okay, but there's also your study, not your study guide. There is also your your textbook. Okay, for those of you who have the prescribed textbook, you will find it on page 133, chapter 9. It's called. Okay. And what's nice about your prescribed textbook is that it takes you through each section of that kind of essay. So if you look at page 138, it talks about how to develop the thesis statement of an argumentative essay, bearing in mind that your thesis statement is part of your introduction. Okay. So remember, in an argumentative essay, you are required to agree or disagree. You must take a side. And then your body paragraphs have to support the side that you've taken, that you've chosen. Does that make sense, Annalene? Do you have the textbook? Okay, all right, great. Let's just go back there. So here, so you'll see the types of the types of questions, it would be, is something right or wrong? Do you agree or disagree? It's like your assignment question that you had. What was it? The police presence on the school premises or not? Did you agree, or did you think no, they shouldn't be on the premises? So one of the important aspects of an argumentative essay, and you can see here, is a counter argument. Now, the best way to understand a counter argument is if the reason you put a counter argument meaning the other side. So if you are for something and you arguing in your body paragraphs for that issue, okay, you are in agreement with that issue, or you are you disagree with the issue, then one of your body paragraphs can deal with what we call the counter argument. The counter argument is the opposing view to whatever view you took. Okay. And the reason you put in the reason you put the counter argument in is because you want to break that counter argument down. Okay. So what you want to do is it's going to when you show in your writing that the counter argument is weak, even the counter argument is weak, then it strengthens your view. Okay. Let me just see if there's anything here in your essay about counter arguments. Not in your essay. What am I saying? In your textbook. Okay. So, another way to understand counter-argument is if you cast your mind back to I see your question. Mpumelelo, I see your question. I'll come back to it in a minute. Another way to understand the counter-argument is to think back to, those of you who enjoy the courtroom dramas. I mean, even things like Law and Order, those TV shows, and even Suits and all of those, big TV legal dramas that we see on TV, those series that we watch. If you think about it, often either the defense or the prosecution, their goal, sometimes they don't have a case. And then what they do is, all they do is pay careful attention to what the other side is doing, and all they're doing is poking holes in that side's argument. And based on that, they can then present before the deciding body, be it a magistrate, the jury, or a judge, and say, okay, so this is what the opposing side is saying. But this is what we are saying in response to that. And based on what we are saying, their case can't stand. They have no evidence. It can't be considered to be valid. So that's another way of understanding the counter argument. Does that make sense to you? Mpumelelo is saying, do you have to state whether you are for or against? Yes, absolutely. You have to state, so that is your thesis statement, okay? Your thesis statement is going to be the topic and the controlling idea. So a thesis statement is made up of two aspects, the topic and the controlling idea, irrespective of the kind of essay you're writing, okay? The controlling idea in an argumentative essay is whether you agree or not. That's the controlling idea. All right. If you cast your mind back to the assignment and the argumentative essay of the assignment, the topic of the assignment was the presence of police at schools, right? And the controlling idea, you had a choice. You had to say, I agree or I disagree. Does that make sense, Mpumelelo and everyone else? I haven't had a response to my earlier question yet, whether people understood that one that I had about the... Okay, all right, great. Excellent. Okay, great. So for those of you who have just arrived, please make sure that you've posted your student number in the chat. I clearly understand the counter argument. Okay. So Mpumelelo, what I'd like you to do is I'm going to share with you again the tutorial letter 301. Okay. And how you can use counter argument in your argumentative essay. So let's just follow what it says here for an argumentative essay. And if you look at, obviously your introduction is going to contain what the topic is, a general statement about the topic, okay? It's going to maybe write 1 or 2 sentences. Secondly, your thesis statement is going to be included, which is the topic plus your topic, the controlling idea, okay, which in the argumentative essay's case is whether you agree or whether you disagree. And then, of course, you've got to say what the reasons are for you agreeing or disagreeing. So in your introduction, you are also going to say, in this essay, firstly, I will argue that. Secondly, I will argue this. Thirdly, I will argue that. I will put forward a counter argument and a refutation. Now, I know for some of you this might be new information, okay? So I'm quite happy to go through it. Again, having said that, remember the exam said that you had 3 choices. You must write 1 of 3. So if you're confused about the argumentative essay, don't write an argumentative essay. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you come away from here still a little bit like, oh, this argumentative essay is really driving me insane. Argumentative essay probably will be one of the options, but there are other essay types. There's the cause and effect, there's the compare and contrast, and then there's the, cause and effect can even be problem and solution. Compare and contrast, and it's really important that you pay attention to the way in which the structure of those essays. So you've got your textbook to go to if you're needing that. But to come back to Mpumelele's question. So if you look at on the screen here, you've got in front of you your body paragraphs, right? So your body paragraph is your first body paragraph is going to give the first reason why you hold that point of view, and you're going to support these reasons, with evidence. Second body paragraph, same thing. And maybe in your instance, you're maybe not going to have 3 reasons. Maybe you're going to have 2 only, and then you're going to counter argue. You're going to argue against yourself. That's essentially what a counter argument is. So what arguments could one give for the opposite point of view? And then you say what those arguments are. Then you have to refute that. Okay, in other words, refutation, let's just look up what it means. And now I've got to share the screen with you. Okay, yeah. I'm going to share the. I'll go back to the. Okay, so I'm sharing my browser screen. Okay, the act of refuting. So what does the word refuting mean? To refute means To prove to be false or in error. The word erroneous means to be in error. Okay. So what you're wanting to do is you're arguing in the counter argument. You're arguing against yourself. That's essentially what the counter argument is. So now let's go back here. Is everyone seeing the PDF? Yeah, you should be seeing this, the PDF document tutorial letter. So now what you're doing is you are saying why the counter arguments are wrong. Okay. Give reasons why those attacks, these counter arguments against your position can be defeated, and say why your point of view is correct. So counter arguments are useful when you're writing about a controversial issue on which people have strong feelings and views. Okay. Such as the death penalty, abortion, gender, military service. Okay. But again, if you are unclear or uncertain of how it works and you feel that you might just struggle, then choose a different essay. Okay. Is everybody okay now with counter argument and the argumentative essay? Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you to please keep the question coming? You're welcome, Pumelelo. Please keep the questions coming. This is an interactive session. It's your time. I'm happy to answer the questions as they come up on the screen. Okay. I have a little video to show you on the writing process, which I think will be useful, but we can get to that later. We've got 2 hours to talk, for you to type your questions. If there's anything you want. Okay. Okay, so Setu, the counter argument forms part of an argumentative essay. Okay. And it's a technique that we use in order to strengthen our view. You don't have to include a counter argument in the argumentative essay. It does take a bit of practice. So yeah, stick to the cause and effect essay. So go with what you know. Tembisili, you have a question? Yeah, it is a bit late to master it. So look, this exam is showing your Temisile, have you put your student number in the chat? This exam is intended for you to remember. In my previous sessions, and some people may or may not remember this, I explained to you how you are writing to impress. Okay, you're writing to impress the marker with the way in which you think. But you're having this written sort of conversation with them, and you are wanting to impress the marker with the way in which you are expressing your opinions, your ideas, your views in a writing. All right. So that's what and the way in which, part of the way in which we impress them is to structure our ideas very, very carefully. All right. So use that, use this tutorial letter 301, use it. And okay, so you will not write descriptive essay. You will not write a narrative essay. I'm talking about tomorrow now, okay? You are going to maybe write a problem-solving essay, okay? Problem-solving would be like cause and effect, compare and contrast, those kinds of essays you will write. And you will also might be given an argumentative essay. So remember, it's choose one of 3, okay? I'm still waiting for your comments and your questions. So I thought let's just go through this tutorial later. While you're typing your questions, let's just go and go through this. So again, this document shouldn't be new to you. This shouldn't be the first time you're seeing it because it's available on my UNISA. It's been there since, what day is it today? I think the weekend. All right. So you've got to go through this document really carefully. This is just an explanation of the, the portfolio examination. All right. And again, don't get worked up about this word portfolio. The portfolio examination simply means that you have been given a few days within which to submit your exam, okay, like you did with your assignment. It says here the question paper is comprised of 3 essay topics. You are expected to choose one topic and write an essay. I see a question. Yeah, okay. I see your comment. I'm struggling with referencing. All right, so what in particular, Mpumelelo, was the problem with the referencing? Can you recall? Remember, you need to be very specific because referencing is a very broad. I can talk for a whole 2 hours on referencing, and that won't be fair. So there might be somebody with a different kind of question. So you need to, in your questions, you need to be very, very specific. What aspect of referencing were they referring to? The construction of your references, was it in text or was it referencing in your reference list? Do you see how specific you need to be? Reference list. Okay, all right. So, Pumelelo, I'm going to show everyone. Thanks for that suggestion. However, just a word of caution. Tembisile, I see your mic is going on and off all the time. Do you want to ask a question or do you want to rather type the question?
Can I ask the question? Is that okay? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead, ask your question.
I just want to go back to compare and contrast. Now, I think I found it difficult with my assignment. When they say compare and contrast, are you
Yes.
supposed to agree or disagree with what they're saying and then compare and contrast, or you just say whatever given topic, you compare the goods and the bads and then you state the differences? So am I
Okay.
supposed to say, yes, I stand with A and then compare and contrast, or just compare and contrast and let I don't know, sort of like give the writer, what can I say, pointers to say this is the advantage or this is the disadvantage?
Okay, so firstly, okay, can I come back to your question, Tembisile, so that I can just deal with what's in the I'll come back to your question. I've made a note of it. All
Okay,
right.
thank you.
I just wanna address Pumelelo's question here
Okay, I'm
about
switching off my
referencing.
mic now. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, you can put your mic off. Yeah, great. And then so yeah, Nurjan has posted a fantastic suggestion where she uses a Google Chrome extension, and it's called My Bib Citation Generator. And it does a whole lot of stuff. So I'm going to leave it up to you. You can always come back to the chat here to find it, bearing in mind that the session is recorded. I'm not sure. I hope that I will ask them very nicely to upload the recording of the session, but I don't know if the chat comes up also. Otherwise, you can always come back into this academic English writing team and then just look at the chat and find it. You can also select the referencing style. So it's a fantastic tool that you can use, and it does a whole lot of stuff for you. Okay, it can see whether it's credible or not. It can select the referencing style. It gives you the in-text referencing and the final referencing to include in your bibliography. You can also save your sources and revisit it later. And it's been a great help to you. Thank you very much. Now, if you have the time and the inclination to go, and often with these tools, we need to teach ourselves how to use these tools. Okay. And if you have the time, then use the tool, right? Um, it's a fantastic tool. But if you don't have the time and you think it's going to stress you out, then keep it for another time. Then bear in mind that it is available to you and it might be great going forward, but maybe not for this exam. Whereas someone like Nujan, who's used it before, she's clearly going to use it, okay, for her to write her essay this week. So that's really great. But there are other ways that you can that there are other ways of making sure that you construct your reference list accurately. Okay, so let me share my. So remember, it's not only about accuracy, but it's also about all the little detail. Okay, so let me share my desktop with you. It just makes it easier. I'm just opening up a Word document. And Nujan, as a postgraduate student, I'm going to explore that myself. You know, you're never too old to learn. So, all right. So let's go to the browser and let's go to Google Scholar. And let's just choose something here. Okay, let's choose this here. Etiquette in the workplace. Okay. Okay. So, Pumelelo, this is specifically for you and for those of you who I showed this on Saturday, but again, let's do it. So imagine you wanted to use this, document here. Business etiquette, what your students don't know. Okay. Now imagine you wanted to use it. You'll see here these two little quote marks. Okay. When you click on it, a little box will open. And all you have to do is MLA, APA, Chicago, Harvard, Vancouver are all different reference styles. This module requires you to use Harvard, right? So all you do is when you go to Google Scholar and you have found an article that you want to use, you click on those two little quote marks there, and you'll see a box will open, and you click on next to Harvard, and you'll see that that will become highlighted, ready for you to right click, copy, and then you can paste it into a Word document. And this, the way in which this has been written is you can simply copy and paste that into your reference list, because this is how an academic journal article has to be referenced, right down to the every little full stop. And I'm going to make this bigger so that you can see what I'm talking about, because it's only, let's make it 22. Okay, so every little, and let's take I just want to take this off so that it doesn't mix you up. Every little full stop, every comma, the fact that this is in italics, this is in brackets, there is a full stop at the end, every bit of punctuation is important. Okay, and it's this little bit of nitty-gritty that is what the marker is looking for. Not only that it must be author first, date, then the name of the article, then the name of the journal it was found in, then the volume, then the issue, and the page numbers. They don't only want that information. They want to see every little full stop, every little comma, every bit of italics. Okay, so the Google Scholar tool for referencing helps a lot with formatting your reference list. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Got it? Okay. There is another tool called and I've shown this to people already. It's called Cite This For Me. And again, this is a free online tool that you can use. And all it does is it formats any reference that you have and you're unsure of. Maybe you just copied and pasted and you forgot to do the Google thing. Okay, you forgot to do the Google Scholar thing, and now you want to go and you need to make sure that you have it formatted correctly. So imagine it was this one, evolving etiquette, e-etiquette in the workplace. Okay. So let's go to Cite This For Me and let's see if we can find this article. Or maybe not that one. Let's see, business etiquette, workplace etiquette. Okay, let's just go with the same one. Let's click on this article. And I'm just going to copy and paste the title. And I'm going to paste it into this free online tool. So when you open it, you'll see lots and lots of ads. Okay, you're just going to have to live with it because it's a free tool. And you're going to go to the top here and you're going to choose a style and you're going to select Harvard. And then we've got Harvard. Then you're going to go to add new reference. And you have to choose your source type. Is it a website? Is it a journal? Is it a book? What is it? So if it's a journal article, here we're just going to put the name of the journal article in it, and we're going to go search, and we hope that it finds it. And it's looking for it. You'll see the bars going at the top there. It's looking for it. Here we go. Okay. And there's the article that we were looking for, and we click on Cite. Now, just remember, and we click on Continue. Just remember, this tool is not going to help you find sources of information. And we're going to click on Complete Citation. And you are back here to this page with lots and lots of ads around it. Okay, and it will look like a bit like a Word document on your screen, and it will be called your bibliography. Now, what you can do is, there is a way here for you to actually copy and paste the whole everything, okay, into a Word, here, download to Word. You can do that. You can copy and paste it. Alternatively, if you go here, you'll say here, copy the bibliography citation. So that means you're going to take all of this, you're going to copy and paste it. So it's got this little shortcut. So you copy and you open up your Word document and we're going to paste it. And there it is automatically, and you'll see it's exactly the same as that came out of Google Scholar. It's exactly the same as is required for your reference list. But what is nice about the Cite This For Me tool is that it also comes with an in-text citation tool. So if you click there, it's copied, it will take across your in-text what So imagine you were busy typing your essay and you were going to use a paraphrase from something that Mauserhund, Deutsch, Brown, and Bridges said. Okay, so you would have your paraphrase here, and there's your in-text citation at the end, and your full stop, and that's your sentence. Does that make sense? Ah, okay. So where did you go wrong, Pumelelo? Okay, all right. Mm, okay, all right. Excellent. So let's go to, where's she gone? Is she still here? Yes, it was Tembisili. Yeah, was it Tembisili? You asked about the compare and contrast essay, wasn't it? Okay, so let's just go back then to our when you're writing a compare and contrast essay. So remember, argument is used in two ways. What is your argument, as in what is your view, and then what is your um, and then using it as a technique, okay, in your discussion. So there are two ways. So in a compare and contrast essay, you are using your argument consists of, in other words, your argument being the point you're wanting to make, is to point out the similarities and differences of something between two things. Okay, what are the similarities between something, and what are the differences between something? And that's the point you're trying to make, is to use compare and contrast as a way of arguing your point of view on an issue. Does that make sense to you, Tembisili? I see your question, Annaline. Tembisili's gone quiet. Is Tembisili still here? I see her, but maybe she can't hear us. Okay.
Hi.
Yeah,
My
go
network is
to
a bit slow,
Tembisili.
sorry.
Yeah.
I was saying my network is a bit slow. Sorry
Oh,
about that.
okay.
You were saying? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now I was just wanting to know if that makes sense, because you were talking about argumentative essay and compare and contrast as if they were the same thing. And what I was wanting to point out to you is that we use argument as a technique. Okay.
Okay.
Um, and I wanted to just make sure that you understood about the compare and the contrast essay, where you write about the similarities and differences. And do you have a prescribed textbook? Because your prescribed textbook will also provide you with really detailed information on the compare and contrast essay. And I think your tutorial letter on your assignment should also do the same thing. Okay, all right. So go to the prescribed textbook and read through. It's called chapter 12 in your textbook, and you find it on page 97. Okay. Annaline, you were saying you want to add a question to the referencing. You also lost a few marks with referencing without sourcing it in my essay. Okay, so what is important is that a reference list is a list of all your sources of information that you used in the body of your essay. Okay? It's important that you understand that because it is different to a bibliography. Sometimes people use it interchangeably, but they mean two different things. So a reference list. Okay, great. I see your comment, Tembisile. A reference list is a list of all of the sources of information that you have cited, C-I-T-E-D, in your essay. Okay, that's a reference list. So in other words, there must be a match. They must tie up. You cannot have in your essay sources of information that have been cited with a C-I-T-E-D and sources of information. So in other words, and then at the end in what you are calling your reference list, references, full references like I've got here in this Word document, full references like this, but nowhere in your essay have you cited this reference. Then your reference list is not a reference list, it is a bibliography. And generally, undergraduate students, which you are, you won't use a bibliography. You won't need to write a bibliography. You will have to include a reference list. Okay. A bibliography is different to a reference list in that it is every single document that you have consulted, but you have not necessarily cited it in text. In text meaning in the body of your essay. Does that make sense to everybody? The difference between the bibliography and the reference list. And Annaline, if I'm understanding your comment and your question, is that what you're asking? I got information I am using my essay. Can't you just reference it without putting it in your essay? Okay. Does that make sense to you, Annaline? Just let me know. Yonele, you wanting to know what is, okay. So yes, thanks for that. Excellent. This is fantastic the way you're supporting each other in the chat here, telling each other where to find information. I'm so pleased because it means that you've been, you know, I use the word scour. You've scoured the tutorial letter, which means you've read it cover to cover. And it's so important. So let's just go there quickly, okay? So it's in tutorial letter. It is at the end of the tutorial letter, but I think of the tutorial letter in which you found your assignments. So just to help you with that, I think the AGR was agreement, is agreement. I mean, I'm not a marker, but But the AGR, I think, is agreement. The AWK is awkward phrasing, as in you have to rewrite the sentence because the way in which you've constructed that sentence, it's awkward to read it. And CS, oh, I think CS is comma splice. So comma splice is a kind of grammatical error that is very, very common, where you use a comma instead of a full stop to separate your ideas. Okay. So I think CS is comma splice. Yep. So go to page 25 to have a look at the marking codes. Okay. Please keep the questions coming. So I think I want to just go through, I just want to make sure that everybody gets this here. So I went through this tutorial later and I just highlighted some important things. Answer one question. If you answer both essay questions, the first one will be marked and the second one will not be marked. We expect you to consult and cite 4 academically valid sources of information. They must be cited and referenced appropriately in the Harvard style of referencing, approximately 500 words. It includes your introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion. And this was interesting. The in-text citations and reference list do not form part of the word count. The in-text citations do not form part of the word count. Now, I'll tell you something about Microsoft Word. There isn't any way for you to exclude, as in electronically, the in-text citations if you're wanting to do a word count. Because the word count in Word, it's going to count everything, including your in-text citations. So unless you want to take time and actually physically, highlight all of the in-text citations and then count it, it's going to take time. So, yeah. Okay, Mpumelelo, do I have a summary for paraphrasing? Okay, so I want to refer you to the very first, Mpumelelo, are you in the WhatsApp chat, eh? So if you go and you watch the the video of the 3rd of October, I covered paraphrasing. But what I'll do is I am going to, let me find, okay, I think I've got a video to show you on paraphrasing. Let me just find it quickly, okay? And see how long it is. Please keep your questions coming. I'm going to have a look if it's saved on the files. No, Adam, that's too long, 13 minutes. Here's a 3-minute one. Okay. Let me show you this 3-minute one. Pumbelelo, let me see what I've got, and then I'll see if I can upload it, even upload it into the chat. Okay.
Hi, this is Ariana Henderson from Academic Skills. Today, we're introducing paraphrasing and how you can use 4 simple steps to create an accurate and effective paraphrase. Paraphrasing and summarizing are key writing and research skills, and, for these reasons, should be used more heavily than direct quotes. Like summarizing, paraphrasing involves rewriting the original idea in your own words. However, while a summary is shorter than the original and only captures the main points, a paraphrase is generally the same length as the original text. Now, let's create our own paraphrase. We're going to use this sample sentence to practice. First, read the original sentence over and over until you completely understand it. Once you fully understand the author's idea, you're ready to incorporate it into your argument. Next, Identify any key words or phrases. This can include any words with subject-specific meanings, numbers, and formula. You can highlight or underline them, or ideally, write them on a separate piece of paper. Now you're ready to put the original sentence to one side and use the key words and phrases as prompts to create your own sentence. Consider where you can change the word form or use a synonym. However, some terms have a very specific meaning and should stay the same.
So I just want to pause it there just to make sure that everybody understands this, okay? When we paraphrase, it's important that we create a brand new sentence, all right? So it's not just a case of changing certain words in the existing sentence. We have to create a brand new sentence with it. So be very careful of this creating, or rather use this technique of creating a new sentence. It's crucial that you do that. And it isn't just a case of taking what they call synonyms, words similar in meaning, and looking at the existing sentence and saying, oh, if I change this word and I change that word, then it's a paraphrase. That's not a paraphrase. Okay.
Using these terms, try writing your new sentence, taking care to maintain the same relationship between the main and supporting ideas. Finally, compare the original text with your paraphrase and ask yourself if the vocabulary and sentence structure are different to the original. Even if you have a short phrase or series of distinctive words from the original text, these words should be enclosed in quotation marks. Also, keep the meaning the same and the length similar to the original. Once you're happy with it, add an in-text citation and your paraphrase is complete.
Okay, so do you see here how, even though the word paraphrasing and paraphrase, okay, the word language, it's very difficult to find a word similar in meaning for the word language because it's actually a concept. So concepts and theories, names of theories, we don't normally paraphrase. But essentially, it is taking the idea of the sentence and writing it using different vocabulary, different sentence structure, keeping the same meaning and a similar length. However, if needs be, you can actually break up the idea in that one sentence. You can break it up into two sentences, or however, if it so requires.
If you think you can improve your paraphrase further, it's okay to go back to step 3 and try again. To change the sentence structure, try these strategies. Change an active verb to passive. Introduce a modal. Change a positive statement to negative.
Okay, so this year is simply going to be, here you're going to have to, using these suggestions, where you're changing a sentence from the active voice into the passive voice, where you introduce what we call a modal. Modal words are words like should, could, would, might, may, those words are called modals, okay, where the meaning then becomes tentative and almost like uncertain, and that's acceptable. And then introducing a negative way, so you turn the sentence around into its negative form, but or you use a negative form of something in that sentence. Those techniques will challenge your command of the English language. So this comes with practice, and the more you write for academic purposes, and the more you read and you actually paraphrase what you're reading, the easier this whole option becomes.
Using these strategies is effective because changing the word form can often force you to change the sentence structure. So, follow these 4 steps and you too can enhance your argument by incorporating and acknowledging others' ideas into your discussion. For more information on...
Okay. How was that? Okay. So, Mpumelelo, just to come back to your question here, do you recommend paraphrasing in each paragraph and not citing the source? Mpumelelo, when you paraphrase in your essay, you must cite the source. Okay. If you watch Saturday's recording, then you will see how I explain that, even though it's a paraphrase, which means you have taken that person's idea and used your own words and changed the sentence structure, it's still not your idea. You have to say where you found that idea. So that is why in the video it says you must cite the source. Timbisile is saying when you paraphrase, okay, so it can be in the front or at the back. However, when your paraphrase is at the end of the sentence, Timbisile, then it usually means that like in the example you saw earlier in the video, it means that you've paraphrased, you've said the stuff, whatever you've said, and then you're putting it in brackets, followed by the full stop. That's the end of the sentence. However, you can include it in the beginning of a sentence by saying something like, according to so and so and so, and according to Nkosi, let's just use your surname, according to Nkosi, in brackets, 2020, comma. Okay, so this is how you can put it. I'm just going to type it in the chat here. According to Nkosi 2020, it is important to blah, 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 blah. Okay. So that's what, when you want to put your citation at the beginning of the sentence and incorporate it into the body of your sentence. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay, great. Okay, what other questions do you have? Is everyone clear on the exam requirements? Sure, go ahead. Go ahead, Timbisile.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I think it's in the tutorial letter, or I read somewhere that you must visit your main points or the main discussion so that you can put them in the conclusion. But then I think I find it difficult because I feel then that I'm just repeating what I mentioned above. So are you saying that I must just remind the writer what they read? Or
Yes.
must I, in conclusion, am I saying that, okay, because of what I stated above, I conclude that, or I come to the opinion that, and then leave it at that? If I think
No,
it's
you've got to
understand.
repeat. You've got to repeat what you said, but you can paraphrase what you said.
Okay.
So you can paraphrase your own writing.
Okay.
So your conclusion always begins with in conclusion, comma,
Mm-hmm.
okay. It is evident or it is clear that, and then you go into your paraphrase
Okay.
of
Thank you
what you
very
just said in your body paragraphs. Yeah, yeah.
much. Okay.
Keep the questions coming. Um, okay, Pumalelo, that's all right. Doesn't this module require Invigilator app? No, it doesn't. It would have said so long ago if it did. Okay. Has anybody who is here today seen anything anywhere on the Invigilator app about referring to the Invigilator app? You can just say a yes or a no in the chat. Nope. Okay. Yeah. All right. I thought so. I just want to show you. I mean, how many have you watched the the webinar that the lecturers put on my Unisa? I'm just going to share my desktop with you again. Because I think, just go and watch the video again. I think there's a narrated PowerPoint presentation, and there is a little video, but you need to download it, which I think is important for you to. So just go to announcements quickly and see. There we go. Exam discussion video was posted on the 17th. So it says under additional resources. So let's go there and I'll just show you where to find it. Here we go. Exam discussion. So watch this video. Okay, I'm not going to play it now. You can go and watch it. It's available to you. And you can even watch it even once you've got the exam. Then there was something else here. In tutorial letters, was it in here? No. Because there was a. I know there was a. I still downloaded it. Here we go. This one, structure of academic writing. This was posted on the 19th, which was yesterday. Okay, so go and download this video and watch it. Okay, and watch this also. So that's how you can prepare for the exam tomorrow. You watched it? Yeah, you watched the webinar. Your network's slow. Okay, yes, it's fine. C two. Okay. Any other comments or questions coming from you? You think you're clear? Pumelelo, do you still want the notes on paraphrasing? Do you still want me to post something on paraphrasing? I would prefer that the questions come from you as opposed to me just, talking, because I see your hand, Tembisile. So yeah, I would prefer you. Okay, all right. Tembisile, go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. I can
Okay.
hear you.
In one of the tutorial letters, they were talking about the flow of ideas.
Yeah.
Now, what is the one way to make sure, or advice that you can give us to make sure that your first paragraph or your first body of work flows into the second body of work? Is there a technique that you can
Yeah.
help us with in terms of that?
Yes. Yes, sure. So the flow that they are referring to, the way in which you create flow in your writing, is to use what is called transition words. And by flow, we link one paragraph to another using transition words or phrases. These words are like words such as furthermore, on the other hand, next, in addition. Words like firstly, secondly, lastly. Those words create flow in your writing, okay? But the other way in which you create a link or a connection between your paragraphs is to also keep referring to the overarching idea of your essay. So you are always going to be almost be repeating the overarching idea of your and saying it over and over again, or saying it a little differently. Does that help? Okay, great. All right. You can lower your hand, Tembisile, unless you have another question. Keep your questions coming. I'm aware that some people are experiencing a slow network, but that's okay. So this tutorial letter 301 also refers to the writing process. So I think maybe what I should do is just show you that video on the writing process that I have. Tembisile, do you have another question, or you can lower your hand? For people who just joined, I see somebody's just joined us. Please add your student number into the meeting chat. And we are having a Q&A session in preparation for tomorrow's exam. And so if there's anything that is you wanting me to just provide. Oh, it's still up. I'm still seeing a raised hand here on my side, that's why. Okay, I'll lower your hand, it's fine. No, it's still up. I can't lower your hand. Okay. Thanks for your student number. And so, yeah, we're just having a Q&A session with everyone present here today. We're just talking about almost everything that you need to be aware of for producing an essay that complies with the academic rules and conventions. So if there's anything that you're unclear of, you're wanting clarity on, I mean, I don't want to be presumptuous, like somebody has, I think it was Mpumelelo, and go and clarify things, and then it might be things you know. So I can't assume that. I can never make that assumption. Okay. Yes, all right. So, okay. So let me just go back to the tutorial letter. And I see your question, how many words, and is it one question, which is the essay? Okay, Tembisile, let me just answer Stephanie's question, and then you can ask your question. So, Stephanie, we are looking at page 6 of tutorial letter 202, which is the tutorial letter which is available under additional sources. And it's this one called, this one, semester 2 exam in the module. You need to go and find it on my UNISA. And here we go. So it's on page 6. It says you will be presented with 3 essays. You are required to answer 1 question. Okay? Number of words, approximately 500 words in length. Now, that word approximately means about, roughly. Okay? So if you've written 485 words, that's okay. If you've written 498 words, that's fine. If you've written 505 words, don't exceed that, please. Okay? Try not to exceed the 500 word count. Please. It does say that your in-text citations and reference lists, they do not form part of the word count. So pay attention to those little instructions that may just, okay. I hope that helps you. Tembisile, go ahead and ask your question again.
I have another question.
That's all right. That's why we're here.
In my second assignment, I saw I had put headings like introduction and then the main topic that I'll be discussing in the body and conclusion. And I saw that my marker scratched that out.
Yes.
So I take it that I'll just, for the exam, I'll just go in, start with my introduction without a heading. And then, so basically, am I not supposed to add the headings or must I just add them in the middle?
Have a look at the screen.
Okay.
And see what I'm highlighting at the moment.
Okay.
Please note you are not expected to use subheadings.
Headings, okay.
Okay, in an academic essay of 500 words, we never use subheadings. We use vocabulary to indicate the move from one idea to another. Okay, so it says, develop your essay using keywords, topics, sentences, and transitions to move from one idea and paragraphs to another. So the words such as, next.
Furthermore, okay.
Furthermore, yes. The second reason, all right, or another way in which this is different to that. Do you get the idea?
Yes,
All
I
right.
do.
Yeah, excellent.
Thank you.
All right. All the best, Mpumelelo. It was lovely to interact with you. Thank you so much for being here today. Annalene, you're saying, what did they ask us about? Okay. All right. So you're asking about how to structure your ideas when they're writing. If they're asking you to write a cause and effect essay, the best place to go is your prescribed textbook, and it's page 115. So just read up about how to structure your ideas. Okay. All right, Annalene. Stephanie, you need to find it on my UNISA. It is on, here you go. It is under additional resources, tutorial letters, and what is it? 202. This one, there we go. There it is. Okay, and I'm not sure if you were here already, but while I'm here, I was also showing them that there's that tutorial letter. And there is also this under additional resources. Just scroll down and find the exam discussion. Download that. Okay, it was posted on the 17th, and the structure of academic writing was posted on the 19th. You would have received these notifications as emails sent to your My Life account to tell you that it's there. Okay. Okay. My screen keeps telling me that I have unread messages and I'm not seeing it. Okay, I wanted to show you the video on the writing process. Okay. Let me just get it into my share tray. And if you have any questions that come to mind, post it in the chat, even if we are watching this video.
In this video, we're going to look at how following a writing process helps you to write efficiently and meet the requirements of your task. There are 6 stages in the writing process: task analysis, brainstorming, research, planning, writing, and editing and proofreading. Each stage generally informs the next, although it may not be an entirely linear process, as you might have to repeat certain steps as you refine your work. Taking a process approach gives you a set of steps to follow every time you write, helping you to break tasks down into manageable chunks and allocate your time accordingly. You might notice that there's a lot of work to do before you begin writing. In fact, around 70% of the total time it takes to complete the paper might be spent before you write. We recommend using an assignment planner to map out the process and measure your progress. You can download this one from our website. Let's take a look at each of the 6 stages in more detail. The first step is analysing the task, or working out exactly what you're expected to do. First, identify the genre. Although essays are a common form of assessment, you might also need to produce reports, case studies, policy documents, literature reviews, or poster presentations, depending on your discipline. Each genre has its own organisation, structure, style expectations, and language conventions that must be followed. You also need to think about your aim. Putting aside the fact that you're writing because it's a compulsory assignment, think about why these genres are written in a real-life context. What do you need your reader to know, do, or understand? Are you trying to present an argument, inform, recommend, or inspire action? In most cases, we write for an audience, not just for ourselves. So you need to consider who will read your paper and what their expectations are. Think about what readers need from the paper or why they're reading it, their level of knowledge, and how they will read. Will they scan and jump between sections or read in detail from start to finish? Considering genre, aim, and audience will help you to work out what and how much content to include, how to structure your paper, and the required writing style. Once you've analysed the task, you need to look at the question to identify any content, direction, and limiting words. Content words deal with topics or subtopics and identify the subject material you should focus on. Direction words are usually verbs that tell you what you have to do. For example, discuss or compare. Each of these words has a different focus, so make sure you understand exactly what each requires you to do. Limiting words limit the scope of the topic to a particular area. For example, all, some, the majority of, or references to time, place, and/or specific groups. Pause the video, take a look at this example, and see if you can identify the content, limiting, and direction words. In this example, the direction word is discuss, the topic topic is the impact of stress, and the analysis is limited to the immune system only. Spend time on this stage. A paper which directly answers the question and uses appropriate structure and style for the genre will get better marks than one that doesn't. Stage 2 is brainstorming. Write down any and all ideas that you have without worrying about structure. This helps you to work out what you already know, connect ideas and notice emerging themes, and identify what you need to find out. Then, refine your brainstorm. Decide on your focus, identify relevant ideas and key search terms, and organize them in an initial plan to guide your research. The purpose of the third stage, research and reading, is to gather the information you need to help you reach your own conclusions. It's best considered as a cycle that involves developing a research strategy, using the keywords from your brainstorm, finding information, reading critically to evaluate that information and identify themes, and synthesizing or drawing together these main themes to help you form your own ideas. Again, this isn't a linear process, and you might need to adjust your strategy and refine your plan as you progress through your research. This can be a challenging stage of the writing process, but developing your critical thinking, reading, and note-taking skills will help you to navigate this stage efficiently and effectively. Although you may feel under pressure to start writing, once you've gathered enough research to draw conclusions, it's important to take time to think and organize your ideas. Planning helps you to stay on topic, achieve coherence and cohesion, meet the expectations of your audience, and write according to genre. It's important to consider genre, aim, and audience at this stage, as different types of tasks require different structure and approach. There are different ways of organizing your ideas. If you like to see the whole picture and how ideas connect, you might like to try a mind map. We often recommend transformative reading. As you read, transfer ideas directly into your plan. Fill in the plan with bullet point information, including reference details, author name, page number, or URL. You can then add your critical response to the information. Once you have the main ideas, you can then plan your introduction and conclusion. The introduction needs to outline the argument, the main points, and the structure of the paper, so it's often easier to plan this once you've outlined the body. Planning helps you to present a logical, carefully considered, and well-supported argument. Academic writing generally, and essays in particular, require you to present an argument, which is a claim or proposition supported by reasoning and evidence. This argument is your response to the task, based on a thorough evaluation of the research you conducted. Mapping out your argument helps to see the connections between ideas. You can see in this example, we begin with the overall contention, argument mapping has many benefits. Then we have the support or reasoning, as well as the counter-argument. The next step would be to add in the evidence we'd use to support each claim. Thorough planning allows you to progress to the next stage, writing, with a clear focus, helping you to avoid writer's block. Using your plan as a guide, start writing. You'll need to do a few drafts to get it right. Your first draft is about getting your ideas flowing. Don't worry about the word count or making things perfect. Take a break before your second draft. During your second draft, reread your paper. You might find that you need to remove repetitive or irrelevant sections or shift things around. Take another break before you move on to the third draft. This is where the writing stage moves into the editing and proofreading stage. In your third draft, focus on content, structure, style, and clarity and logic of argument. You might want to edit several times, each time focusing on a different aspect, such as expression and clarity or referencing. Try to leave a few days between editing and proofreading your final draft to see your text with a clear mind. Read for spelling, punctuation, and grammatical errors. It's often easier to do this with a hard copy. It's really important to leave time for these final stages, as readers make judgments on both the content and the quality of presentation of your work. Poor presentation will give the impression that your paper was rushed. Now that we've worked through each of the 6 stages of the writing process, hopefully you can see how a process approach helps you to break your assignment down into a series of manageable tasks. Take time to complete each stage. Using a planner will help you to map out what you need to do. And remember that up to 70% of your time might be spent before you even begin writing. If you would like more detailed information or to practice any of the skills discussed in this video, take a look at the research.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it there because it's just promoting that university's support center. Okay, so one of the reasons I wanted to show you that video was to lead you into thinking about how you're going to manage your time starting tomorrow, leading up to the 24th, which is when you have to submit your assignments. Okay, so you have from the 21st of October to the 24th to write. So start thinking about what you just saw, okay, and thinking about all of the different stages. So how do you think you could break up your time into the 21st, and the paper becomes available, I think, is it at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, 21st, yes, and it has to be uploaded by 7 o'clock on Saturday night. So you've got, I don't want to say 4 days, it's about 3 days, okay, in which that you can use. So I recommend that as soon as you download the paper, the first thing you are going to do is you're going to download the paper into a place that you're going to be able to find it again. So create an ENG1503 exam folder on your computer. Put the paper in that folder. Go and read the paper cover to cover. Read every single word. Okay? Look up things that you don't understand. If you're wanting to go and watch certain things again, look at all the resources that's available to you, do so. But one of the important things that I think before you go to bed on Wednesday night is you must have firstly analyzed your chosen topic, analyze the question, make your choice, which one am I going to write about? Then you analyze it, you break it up, and I think the first session of the Saturday recordings, I spent time on that, and the second session, I spent time on that. Okay, so the 3rd and the 10th and the 17th, the Saturday recordings. Have a look at that. So analyze it and then brainstorm it. And at this stage, you're not writing your essay. You're just making scribblings in a book, or if you're working straight on a computer, you are just getting all the ideas out of your head that come to mind. Okay. And maybe you can start grouping some things that can go together. Then on the 22nd, which is Thursday, get stuck into your research. Okay? Remember, 70% of your time is going to be taken up with the planning, the drafting, the research. Okay, the actual writing of the essay is going to take up very little time. So your research and your first draft, get working on that on the 22nd. Your research is going to take a lot of time, and you might find that your research is going to spill over into the 23rd, but that's okay, because on the 23rd, get stuck into your first draft. Okay, maybe write your first draft in the morning, then take some time away and then rewrite it to your second draft on the evening of the 23rd. So that on the 24th, the morning of the 24th, this is of course, I mean, you'll have to work around this for those of you who are working and all that kind of thing and have other things going on and you're studying in between for your other modules. On the 24th, look at that draft again and see where it needs to be fixed. Making sure that your in-text citations are correct, your language and grammar, your sentence construction, all those things are in place, and of course your reference list is in place. So that's my recommendation. You look, it's just a suggestion as to how you can manage your time. But I think if you have a plan for the next few days, okay, and not just get all, I must write the essay, oh my word, I must write the essay, and get yourself all stressed out, that's going to be counterproductive. So work out a plan for yourself, you know. What I'll do is let me just post this video link into the chat so that you can go and watch it for yourself again. Um, research to writing process videos. Do you have any questions about it? Okay. Here we go. Yeah, I wasn't streaming the video. I had downloaded the video, Annalene. But there's the video link in the chat now. Okay. So you can go and watch it another time. So maybe if you want, when we're done here, watch it again. Make a note of the steps. And then just think for yourself, okay, you've got no clue what the questions are going to be, and that's okay. You know that you've got to write one essay, 500 words. You know you've got to do research. These are the things you know. So calm yourself down, the things that you do know. Don't worry about the things that you have no control over. What you have no control over is the nature of the question that they are going to ask. Okay. As soon as you're able to log in, get the question paper, you're going to have to find a quiet space for yourself in order to read the paper and make sense of it, and then make your choice. And then have pen and paper, active reading, use your reading strategies, interactive reading, okay? Making notes, analyzing that question like you've been shown how. What are the topic words? What are the discussion? What are the instruction words? What are the verbs? Must I discuss? Must I compare and contrast? Must I argue for or against? Must I write about causes and effects? What am I supposed to do? And then what is the main overarching idea of the question? All right. What is the overarching main idea of the question? Make sense of all of that for yourself. And if you work out how you're going to structure your time, starting on the first all the evening of the 24th, bearing in mind that not everyone is home all the time. You might be going to work, you have family responsibilities, whatever else, make sure that you set time aside for the various steps that have been described in the process, in the video. Now, this shouldn't be new information to you because that writing process is described for you in the first 5 chapters of your prescribed textbook. Okay. The first 5 chapters deals with the writing process. What they've done in that video is just squashed all of it into 8 minutes. So you have access to your textbook. Make use of the guidelines there to guide you through it. Because I promise you, it is worth the time and the effort to plan your time, make good use of the opportunity that you have. And based on the questions and the nature of the questions that I've been having to answer today, I can already see that you are going to be successful in this module. So I feel confident that you will succeed. Do you have any comments, any questions? Because I think we're coming to a close. Okay, Setu, everything clear for you? That's fantastic. You're welcome, Annaline. It's been my pleasure to provide support to you. So, for those of you who are on the WhatsApp chat, just to give you the clear guidelines, I'm available tomorrow. You know, the group will still go. If you still got last minute questions to ask in the chat, go for it. Of course, I won't be answering any questions for ethical reasons tomorrow night. Okay, so all of this will be, all of your comments and that kind of thing. Of course, use the space to ask questions of one another, but I won't, I will just be observing. Okay. There's nothing stopping you from talking to each other. So on the chat, but I will not be getting involved in your conversations if there's anything. So if there aren't any, I see all of your wishing each other all of the best. If there's nothing more, please complete the feedback form that you find in the chat now. And then from me, all of the very best. I'll put my camera back on so that you can see me. All the very best to every single one of you, not only for the ENG1503 exam, but also for the rest of all of your exams for the semester. And if you have any issues with the exam, any problems with downloading, with, email your lecturer. Keep trying to download. Remember, there are going to be loads of students logging in, wanting to access My UNISA. So if you can't get in at any given time, try 15 minutes later, try 20 minutes later, try half an hour later, try an hour later, but you will be able to get in. And make sure that you understand how to upload your answer, where it must be uploaded. Make sure that you upload the correct answer document. All right, you don't want to spend all this time and effort and then you upload the wrong document. So make sure that it's named very, very clearly in your filing system on your computer. So thank you, Setu. It's been my pleasure to be on this path with you, on this journey with you. So on that note, everyone, good night and have a blessed evening. Stay safe. Remember, the virus is still with us. It's a cruel virus and we need to stay safe and take care of ourselves. Don't let your guard down. So all the very best for the exams to each one of you. It was wonderful interacting with you for the semester and all the best. Take care and stay safe. Good night.